and I saw there was quite a lot. And this is how you know I did not like you kind like I was very specific on making sure that this was very platonic. But yeah, I wrote to him and then he wrote me back and we were very open about the intentions and everything. Relationship was never in the answer or in the question until like months later when yeah, that's when it came up. But we were both like we both made it very clear that this is what the conversation's about. Oh, there's a comment for
Oh,
you.
my brace. Yeah, I got nerve damage, so I can't walk without my brace. I might have to have more surgery. I find out on June the 10th.
I spoke
Yeah.
to James on the phone every single day for 2 years, 6 hours a day. Did it bother me? Yeah, it did bother me. I was actually saying it to my friends today. I said, like, I used to be so mad at the fact that we couldn't be together physically. I used to really, and he used to say to me, like, you do, I can see you're struggling with the fact that we can't physically be together. Um, but when there's a way that, when there's, what's that saying? When there's a way, I don't even know anymore.
When there's
English
a
is not my
will, there's a
thing.
way.
Thank you. When there's a will, there's a way. I do speak Albanian, but everyone speaks English here, so I'm not gonna start in Albanian.
Are you going to stay to clear his name?
I can clear his name from here and from Mars. I'm gonna keep on clearing his name wherever I am. But yeah, I am gonna clear his name. Um, oh, Brie, that's cute. By the way, I'm not speaking about my child.
Yeah, we
Leave
did
the kid
that.
alone. Leave the kid alone.
We did that before, and we're not addressing it again.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to eat this sandwich and not give myself heartburn at the same time.
What's my plan now? So I am currently going through all this paperwork again. 100%, Chelsea, 100%. I'm still going through his paperwork. I am going through everything to collect it, put it together. We're still working in the background for his case. Yeah, so much is going to happen in order to clear his name. Does James not have family around supporting his case? James, so guys, if you want to know more about James's life, his clemency videos on YouTube, it pretty much tells you everything on YouTube. Yes, Haley, yeah. On YouTube there is the admission of there's two versions of the admission of the co-defendant, which is one is the short one and one is the extended one. And then there's the clemency video talking about James's life. So that's on YouTube, Justice for James Broadnax. And you can see literally everything. I don't know, how do I put the link to the YouTube?
When you go to edit your bio, I'll screen record it and I'll send it to you how to do it.
Okay. So I will
It's really
put up.
simple.
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. If someone can put the link on there, find it on the comments, you can pin it. But it's on YouTube. It's Justice for James Broadnax, and literally all the videos are on there.
Very powerful.
What is his cousin up to? I have no idea. I don't know. People need to realize we never spoke to the cousin. It was the lawyers that were in communication with Demarius. Yeah.
There's a Dr. Phil interview that you can watch as well. YouTube, very well reminded.
Yeah, it's Dr. Phil podcasts. So, see, this is the thing. Did he still do the robbery? So he was taking accountability for the robbery because he was there. There was a car stolen, and so he took accountability for the robbery. He just did not take accountability for the killing, with the life ending. Because, sorry, I have to be careful what words I use on here. He won't take accountability, and he shouldn't take accountability for something he didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Clemency video, just search up justice for James Broadnax. Did he see the people's life ending? I don't know. I wasn't there, guys, so I can't answer questions where I wasn't physically there.
Did he ever like talk about that with you, or like, you know, like, so when you said, okay, we're gonna like enter into a romantic relationship, did he ever speak about that night or anything? Does he like remember it, or?
He couldn't speak about it properly because obviously everything is recorded and subject to monitoring, right?
Yeah.
Even when I would see him, we're still on the phones because and they're all recorded, so we couldn't talk about it. All as far as he's ever told me is that he was high, so all he remembers is that 1 minute he's facing these people and the next minute boom boom boom, and it's like, what the heck happened? And he even like, he can tell in the clemency video, you will see that too. So it's just pretty much, he said that things happened so fast we didn't expect. Like he didn't, it was just, you know, when you can't, and this is what annoys me when they say law parties, he was there, he's as guilty. Like, you can't be responsible for somebody else's actions when you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
PCP is a drug. There's different ways of taking it from what I've read into it, but the worst one is the one that you put into your marijuana, and it makes you hallucinate. It makes you very paranoid. It's like they say it's worse than, what was it? LSD. And they say it's worse than LSD. It's like one of the worst forms of like
Jesus
drugs. Like, you're not like people, like, it's very common in America, and I've spoken to a lot of people who have been on it, and like people have tried to commit suicide on it. They've run around that, like they've seen people run around the streets naked. Like, it's such a dangerous drug. And
I was just about to say, somebody said Spice. Is it a bit like the K2 and Spice and that kind of thing?
Worse.
Is it stronger, worse? Yeah.
Worse. Like, Spice makes you collapse, like it paralyzes you, like fentanyl. But PCP it literally makes you mentally lose it, and it makes you very like it. And one thing about PCP, it makes you lose all emotion. So when people were seeing him the way he was acting in those interviews, they were seeing what PCP does to you. Like, you completely lose, you have lack of emotion. And it makes you look, oh, thank you, sorry, because I don't know all the terminology and the TikToks of terminology, but yeah, so yeah, it is a dissociative thing. So it literally makes you not have no feelings, nothing. So what people were seeing on those interviews were the symptoms of that product. And then people, yeah.
And also, if you go and check the videos that you've been posting recently, you can see where he said, I am seeing things, I need help, like I'm not okay right now.
So can you imagine, he was arrested and they saw that he was high, like at high dosages of PCP, and they've put him in a singular little cell there for 4 hours. They've tried to interrogate him. He didn't want to be questioned by them when they first arrested him, and they just left him in a room by himself to lose his mind and to get paranoid and to get, you know, to kind of like start going crazy. So by the time they put him in front of these journalists, you know, he was already losing it because he was locked in a room. shouldn't he have withdrawn from the drug as he was locked up, if that makes sense? He had withdrawal symptoms about 3-4 days later in Suicide Watch. So that's when he came, and then he realized that he saw the interviews on TV, and he's like, what the heck happened? I don't remember none of this. And it's like people are so focused on how he behaved, but they ignore the fact that he was high on PCP, and that's what PCP does to you. And also the fact that he's also taken a blame for his cousin. So, and that's why when we were talking about a potential retrial, they said that they wouldn't give a retrial because they know that those interviews would not be admissible in court, and they would have had no evidence to say, no other evidence to show that he would have done it. So, because that's all they had.
Why have I got red lipstick going on my face? What the fuck is going on here?
Thank you.
What in the God's green earth?
Like, guys, the one thing I can tell you this is that if those interviews never happened, what evidence could they have used against him? That's what my question is. If there was no interview happened under the influence, what other evidence would they have used against him? That's my question to everybody. And if everybody knows, because everybody acts like they know the case so well, what other evidence would they have used? If there was no DNA matching to him, because there was nothing that ever said that he did it, apart from those interviews. What else do you think they had to show that he did it?
It's wild. Do you speak to his family? Oh, yes, because she was able to find his dad. And you know how that happened? Because she saw the birth certificate that was supposedly not found. Right, I'm going to gingerbread myself quickly.
Do you think his cousin should be in DR instead? I'll be honest with you, I'm against DR anyways. So it would be hypocritical of me to even answer that. So that's the thing, is like, if there was no interviews, what proof would they have used when there was nothing?
Nothing.
Why did he wait until now to say something? Because you have to remember, he truly believed that James was going to get a reversal, and that he wouldn't get an execution date. And 2, he was scared what was going to happen to him. When you're in those situations, people care about themselves more than they care about their family or their co-defendants. It happens all the time where people are in there for themselves, and unfortunately my husband wasn't. He was there trying to protect his cousin, and it caused him his life. So
his cousin his cousin also had the more extensive criminal history as well, to add to that.
Why him so early? That's a big question. Why was his rushed? Yeah. Did James have any? Nope. James, the only criminal thing not even criminal, all he had on his record, and I have his records with me, obviously not in the studio right now, but in the house where all he had was possession of marijuana. That's it.
He wanted to join the military. He was
if his cousin spoke up before the execution date.
I was saying the week after, he was literally going to go to the military had this not happened.
Yeah, they rushed. If they rush to execute somebody, there's a very suspicion to it, because it's either they know that eventually people are going to fight for them, they know that they need to shut you up before they get proven wrong. There's so many things. So it's like he was in DR for 17 years. Yes. Yes, that is true. He did confess. And that's why he said, look, I did it. That's why the DNA has the weapon and everything has my DNA in it and not James's. But do you think your paths would have crossed if he wasn't in prison? No. We actually spoke about this. It's so funny because me and James spoke about this, and we was like, the chances of me and his paths being crossed while if he was out now, it would have been very, very low. I am the only one fighting for him.
What happened? Somebody said, what happened afterwards? Did you get to see his body? And what about a burial?
Yes, I saw his body within the half an hour of him being pronounced that he passed, and then I saw him the following Tuesday. So he passed away on the Thursday. Saw him, was with his body for 5 hours on the following Tuesday, and then yesterday I picked up his ashes. So this marriage stuff, let me clarify again, because I feel like we speak about it all the time. This marriage thing, we were married for only 16 days, and we were only married for 16 days because we'd been trying to get married for over 6 months. But they were playing games with us, and everybody knows, if you know the TDCJ system, to get married in TDCJ, they will make it hell for you. But yeah, so we've been like, I've got, you know me, I bring receipts. I can show you emails from like back in November when we was emailing them to arrange our marriage, and then they would cancel it by purpose. Why would I marry someone you never touched? Well, sometimes you people touch others and they don't stay married to you regardless. So does it make a difference? We've been together for 2 years. This is what I'm saying. People say legally we were married for 16 days. We actually had um a what would you call it, a religious ceremony way before that. We had that in December. um but other than that, legally they were trying to avoid us from getting married. Yes, it is official. I have met him in person. Who told you I haven't met him in person? How could I, like, I haven't, like, I've met the guy. I've spent so much time with this man.
Do you think they let you
See,
get
this is the
married at the
thing.
end because they already knew what they were going to do?
They let me get married because I made a massive complaint.
Yeah.
Like, I had a big meeting with the warden of the prison, the warden of the death row. I had like a massive meeting, and I sent a massive email, and then it came to, and I called the chaplains. I made a big fuss, and eventually they allowed us. Like, the paperwork would be on the desk of the law library for weeks on end, and they wouldn't even give it to him where it'd been approved. And then by the time I would leave,
Out.
they'll be like, "Oh, you can now arrange your wedding." And I'm like, "But we've been waiting here for like," and then on the date it will say that it's been from 2-3 weeks prior.
What the hell?
And they did this to us for a long time, to the point that when I even had the meeting, they was like, "Oh, I know getting married is like pulling teeth." And I said, "Well, pulling teeth is quicker." Like, I don't understand.
I always find they don't want to do it as well because they have to go out and above and beyond what they normally do at work. So you're going to need extra staff, or they're going to need to do something, and they don't like to do anything.
Sorry, guys, 2 seconds.
Why would they?
Okay, sorry.
Were you allowed to touch each other? Were you allowed to touch before you got married?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Who were the people that were comforting you as you walked out after the unaliving?
I had James's lawyer, and then I had the CEOs, and then I had two of my friends that James had organized everybody for me. So James had pretty much organized the people to support me. I'll be honest with you, there were so many people, but I don't remember. I know so many people turned up to support. People were traveling from all over the states and all over the world to come and support us. No, James didn't want nobody there but me. Thank you.
Can I just say as well, the questions about where she is, her location, whether she's in the UK, whether she's in Texas, can we not ask those questions just purely for like safety reasons and stuff?
Yeah.
She's not being rude by not answering, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, we're not to ask them questions. No questions about her location or her child, please, and thank you. Like, please keep it respectful. Could you speak to James every day?
Hi, Charlie. Did I speak? Yes, I spoke to James every single day. And why not his family though? I'm going to briefly say this. We have to remember that this is what I'm saying. Watch the clemency video because it will explain everything why the family wasn't there. And one thing about James was that he found comfort and he only wanted me there. So he always just said, I just need my wife. I want my wife. I just need my wife, because I was pretty much, there was God, there was Jesus, and then there was me for him. And that was for us as well. So yeah. Why did they off him if he didn't? Welcome to Texas, honey. Thank you. Thank you. How was you able? So he could hear me through the window. He could hear me through the window the whole time. I'm going to say something in Albanian quickly because a lot of people are asking me to speak in Albanian. I'm just going to tell them that I can't, because obviously this is predominantly English, and maybe one day I will translate it. It's so weird speaking in Albanian. Okay, let me go. 3, 2, 1. I haven't spoken Albanian in ages. Për ata që nuk po kuptojnë anglisht, unë ju foli qëtër herë shqip që me marrë vesh ma shumë për këtë punë. Okay, so vjen koha se këtë janë të fol anglisht këto, e ma mirë shqip e bëj tjetër herë. So next time I'll do an Albanian version. Thank you so much. Yes, the first time I touched him was when he passed.
You know, before obviously this all happens, is there like a team that tell you exactly what's going to happen, or does that make sense? Like, does somebody say, right, on the day, this is what's going to happen, you're going to get picked up, you're going to move here, you're going to go there, etc.?
Yes. So on the day, on icons of people that had experienced executions before. So when you're in, there's a very big community. There's a very big death row community where there's wives, there's families, there's people that have lost family members to execution. So they kind of give you an idea what's going to happen. And I had gone to 2 execution protests last year, but I hadn't been inside. I'd only been from the outside. So had an idea. Go into this building called the Hospitality House, and the chaplain will tell you what happened. But I'll be honest with you, when he was telling me what happened, I had panic attack, and they couldn't finish. So I kind of, yeah. But it I just couldn't listen to it. I'll be honest with you. I was like, let me just go. I need to go see my husband. That's all I kept saying. And he kept telling them, I just need to see my wife. So it was like a situation where they were trying to, it was crazy because it was like, he was telling them, I need my wife. I'm telling them, I need my husband. And then just like, guys, you both need to, like, there was one point they said to both of us, like, you both need to wait. Like, you need to wait. And we were just like, no, we need to see each other. And that's all that kept mattering. So it's, I don't know what the movies show executions to be like, because I've never watched any movies related to it, but yeah, it definitely looks like a movie. I can tell you that, like a horror movie.
I was going to say a freaking horror movie. I always tell you this. I don't even know that I could have done it, actually. I really don't. I don't think I could. And that's what, you know what, if I always fight people in the comments because people say, oh yeah, she's done it for this reason or that reason. I actually can't think of any other situation in life, apart from obviously to do with your own children, that is so traumatic. Like, that forever will stay with you. And I just think, why would she want to put herself voluntarily like through that? For what? Like, it actually sounds fucking, but like, it's the worst thing that I've ever heard in my life. I think because I'm an empath, I think about how James must have felt. That's what always gets me. I think it's just horrific. Like, there's one thing, there's, you know, everybody's going to go the other side in life, but to know when you're going to go, I think is just the worst of the worst of the worst, especially somebody that's innocent. Like, how do you even begin to process that? It's a lot. Do they give them any kind of I know they had, you mentioned always the spiritual person, but do they get any like counseling or special? No, like nothing.
All he did for himself was he always asked for self-healing books. I didn't bring none of the books or nothing with me to show you guys. Yeah, he brought all his self-healing books. He was doing it all himself, and then he had a tablet. Which there was a lot of classes on there. So he went out of his own way to do all of that. Like, yes.
Do they get pain relief before to make sure they're not in pain?
No.
That's one thing that I always really don't understand. If you're about to pay whatever it is, $1 million for the injection, I never understood why they can't just pay that little bit extra for anesthesia, you know, like at least put the person to sleep before you put them to sleep.
Yeah. It's crazy because someone said to me that their animal, when they listened to how I described his execution, they said that their animal got put down more peacefully than James did.
It's true.
The prison cells, they're small. Like, you stretch out your arms and you can touch both sides of the wall. It's just one little bed, like a metal bed with a very thin mattress, one sink, toilet, a little floating shelf, and like a very long strip of a window. Yeah.
There's been repeated comments about, can you explain what happened that day? Only obviously if you feel comfortable enough.
What happened that day? So I don't know where to start. So much happened that day, but I can pretty much just go straight into the execution chamber. You go into an execution chamber. Okay. You go into an execution chamber and you turn left. Yeah, so you go into the execution chamber and you turn left, and literally it's like a small room. It has no chairs, no nothing but foldable chairs in the corner, and there's like a massive window. And it's like a tunnel kind of room, and you have a massive window and you see the person strapped up in the gurney and their arms spread wide out. It's weird because it's like in a crucifixion. It is a crucifixion like shape. And yeah, so it was just a lot of screaming, a lot of crying, talking to him. He's talking to me. The pastor prayed. I'm gonna give it briefly to you guys. Pastor prayed on him. He was just, I'm not gonna lie, I see these images every single day, morning and night. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm struggling to even speak about it right now. I don't know why. Usually I don't mind.
If you don't want to talk about it, it's absolutely fine.
Oh, got something in my mouth. Yeah, yeah, I have a video that is pretty much, it tells you everything. I think there's two parts of that that I consistently see, which is the part when when I walked in and he turned his head to look at me. And we literally, it's crazy because we literally, as soon as I walked in, we both connected eyes because he turned his head towards me and we both linked eyes, and that's when I started screaming and shouting. And then the other image that gets replayed to me all the time is when his head jerked up and he groaned so loud and it was a pain groan. It wasn't death rattle that they're saying it was a pain groan, and his face dropping. So those are the two main points that I always have flashbacks about, literally day and night. Yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and I think yeah.
What is going on with this?
Texas used a single dose of pro. James felt it take effect, and he could even, by the way. So it's a single dose of three different concussions together. It used to be three separate injections, but then they said that it was inhumane and cruel to do it one by one, so they've made the three into one. I have heard that people can taste it. James never mentioned it because when it hit him, he obviously, like, pretty much, I would say it was more like a shouting groan, and he went unconscious. So some people, the way it happens for him so fast, he didn't even get a chance to describe it like other people have said, oh, I can taste it, or some people have said it burns, but it hit him so fast that he jerked and it hit him. How long does it take to hit them? I don't know, because you don't know when they press the button, and they can press it as fast as they can. So oh, I didn't notice. Sorry. I didn't notice I play with my ring a lot. No, they're not sedated, and that's the thing. That's people are under the impression that they kind of get sedated or they go into like general anesthetic sleep, but they don't. It just goes boof and it hit. Like, has anybody ever had morphine? I remember when morphine was put to me, it was like I don't know how to explain, like a hit into your body. Oh, is that it? Yeah. But when it's injected into your thing, you get that like feeling. Yeah. But it was like that probably three times in pain. Because he was talking to me. He was talking to me the whole time. A huge meal. They had what the canteen had in the prison that day. And we did get to spend the morning together, so we spent from 8 to 12 together, and then from 2 to 5 we was on the phone to each other, even though we was across the street from one another. What was his last words? His last words was, I love you, Queen, don't give up, don't give up, don't. And then he kept saying, I love you, Queen. And then That's when mid-sentence, as he was trying to say something to me, he screamed, he groaned, and he went unconscious. It was always through the glass. It was always through the glass up until the day he died. I kept begging them to let me touch him. So, and they said that it's protocol. They're never gonna allow it. Yeah. Yes, we were allowed to speak about the execution during the visits. We were one thing about it, when you're with somebody that's in there, the only thing you're not allowed to speak, well, you can if you want to, but you should not, is the case itself. So you can talk about, like, for example, the legislative stuff and the policies and the laws surrounding your case, but you shouldn't speak about what happened, because they can use anything against you. And as you guys saw, these interviews, they've been used against him for the rest of his life. So yes. So yeah, sorry guys, there's so much questions. Is there any medical professionals around when the injection is it? So there's a doctor behind the door, and his job is literally to just go in and declare him dead. Did you get to meet his parents? Yes, I was very close with her. Some rappers, yes, he had quite a few rappers that were supporting him. Yes, he always spoke to me about his innocence. Even before he got executed, he cried to me and said, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. You know, they're trying to kill me and I didn't do this. And I always knew he didn't do it. But yeah, have you ever thought about the victims' families? I spoke to the victims' families. I was very close with one of their daughters. So of course I've thought about them. But they didn't think about us, because they were telling me that they can't wait to see him take his last breath.
They built a website with a countdown, like it was some countdown for somebody's birthday.
The remorse part, he had no remorse. I just said it earlier. You're under PCP, that makes you lack any emotion, that makes you act in a way that you don't have remorse. One. So not only is he high, then two, he took the blame for his cousin, who was just with a full load of criminal record, who knew the system, who'd been in and out of juvenile jail, who knew how to play the system. So okay, that's fine. She said he still went to rob innocent people. Okay, so why was he not charged for robbery, as he said? James always took accountability for the robbery part. He didn't take accountability for something that he didn't do, which is unalive people. So yeah, James was happy to do. This is what I'm saying to you. People think that James is just screaming, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. I was never. James always said, I will take accountability for being there, because I should have never been there. But I'm not taking accountability for unaliving somebody. And that's what I'm saying. James never sat there and said, I'm absolutely there's two different types of innocence. There's factual innocence, which is factually he is innocent from unaliving people, but he wasn't in totality innocent because he was still there. And that's what people need to understand. James always said, I'm factually innocent from what they're accusing me of, but I was still there.
And since when has anybody got the death penalty for a robbery? I'm not sure.
Veronica, honey, how am I milking this? Because I'm sure if your family member was wrongly accused, I promise you'll be at the rooftop of Austin, Greg Abbott's office, screaming and crying. So please tell me how I'm milking it.
It's also raising awareness, like, about everything. If you were in the live stream before, we did a little like show who had been educated by talking about it, and there were so many people. So it's about clearing his name and education around the death penalty. There is no ulterior motive other than that. Your Wi-Fi is real bad today, girl.
Who, mine?
Yeah.
That's weird. Because
That's better. You're back again.
Did you have kids with him?
Some questions, I'm so sorry, guys. Some questions I don't even think I should answer because I'm like, it's very common sense. Sorry. He wasn't my boyfriend, he was my husband. And would I have lived with his life sentence? Yes.
Somebody said, what was a typical day like for James?
James, all he did was read, play chess, play Dungeons and Dragons, read, speak to me, cook, read, watch movies, watch sermons. That was his day. Clean. This guy was a clean freak. Like, he was a clean freak. He did as much as he could to and reply back to people that would message him. So they don't. So in Texas and watch sports. Yes, he loved the NFL. He loved NFL and NBA. This guy, if Sundays, if Americans know, Sundays was NFL day, and I'm not even gonna lie, I just understood it. And he would be off that phone and be like, "I need to watch my football," and I'm like, "Okay, have your fun." But yeah, 2 years. They don't have TVs inside. They have TVs on the outside of their cells, and they get to watch whatever they can. But in their in tablets, anything.
Somebody said, weird question, but how was he able to get you a ring?
Ring. He picked the ring for me through family members, and then I went and picked it up. Was he a good cook? He made enchiladas and cheesecake. Like this guy was like this guy found ways to cook. He was a good cook. What was the prison staff? Do you know what? Majority of the prison staff were fantastic. Some of them were absolute bullies, but God bless their souls. So yeah. Can you show?
How did you guys meet?
I've already told you guys. I wrote to him through my master's degree. Have I spoken to the cousin? I have messaged him. Yeah, this is in his handwriting. I have messaged him, but he will never reply back to me. And the lawyers speak to him, so I don't have. We weren't allowed to speak to him.
What would your future husband think about your tattoo?
There will be no future husband.
It's just
My future husband's going to be stressed out. One thing about that man, this is why there's no point of me ever getting married. That man is going to always know that James Broadnax was the love of my life and will always be the love of my life. He'll probably be shocked because I'll probably accidentally, the way I speak about him 24/7, he'll probably end up being called James or whatever I called him. He's always going to know that he's there, but he's not there. And the craziest thing is, this is not the only tattoo. I'm not going to show you my body parts, but like, there's so much. Like, he's just not going to want to be with me, and it's best that he doesn't. So, I'm happy. And I've said this before, James fulfilled the parts of me where I now say I've received, and I don't need to get it from somebody else. So I'm more than happy to stay single. Everybody said I was desperate for being with James. I'm not desperate. Like, I'm happy to spend the rest of my days by myself, and I have a very peaceful life anyways. So yes. Can inmates get degrees and qualifications, they can get minor qualifications. James was actually preparing, he was doing a lot of like little lessons and little exams to prepare him that in the case that he ever was able to, that he would finish his GED. And James really wanted to go to college, so he really, that was one of James's dreams, is for him to get a degree. Yes, I can get his name cleared.
When did you guys find out that he had the date?
December 17th.
I think that's another point to make as well, because a lot of people are like, oh, she's, doing this for this or that. You guys didn't know about their relationship for 2 years prior. It was only when the date was given that you guys came out for help. So it wasn't for any ulterior motives.
Guys, quick thing. I just saw somebody mention my child's name. Please, we have to remember there is a massive amount of people on this live. Please stop mentioning my daughter's name. That is, I'm not even gonna lie, that's absolutely pushing it now. Like, you can mention she's a daughter, you can mention everything. With all due respect, please don't mention her name. Because if I want her name, I've got her name tattooed on me too. So it's like, I could have showed you guys if I wanted her name to be out.
I'm gonna block certain words from this live.
You know her name, don't you? I've told you her name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please. Some people are actually, like, people call me mentally unstable, but some people, they've passed me. Honestly, they've actually, like, I may be here mentally unstable, but they've passed me like here, like honestly. That's okay, honey, don't worry. My plans are to clear James's name once and for all, and start fighting to abolish the death penalty. And for human rights, I'm gonna always fight for people that are being oppressed. Not predominantly death penalty for anybody. I just want to teach people to mind their own damn business and stop forcing people and oppressing people because your beliefs don't agree with others. It's as simple as that. I don't care if they say yes but this, yes but that, especially when people say the Bible. Let God deal with those people. Our job is to love others, not to oppress people because we don't agree with their choices. That's none of our business. As long as they're not harming you and they're not harming themselves, mind your business. That's what I'm gonna say.
Good afternoon, Lillian. Bree, I can only mod people that follow me.
He was not guilty by association. So this is another thing that I want to mention. There's this thing called, so guilty by association in Texas will be law of parties. The law of parties has to be pursued. It has to be pursued and instructed to the jury by the prosecutor. The prosecutor didn't do it for James, so James is not under the law of parties or under association. His cousin Damaris is under the law of parties.
Thank you for the heart, Ms. Amelia.
I think I left it. Let me see. I've got some paperwork here. No, I think I left it.
Hang on, because I've got to undo some moderators.
No, I've only got some testimony. I wish I took everything with me. What's this? I left the paper where it says that he wasn't under law of parties. Sorry. Yes, you can watch his story on YouTube, Justice for James Broadnax. That it will be all there. Yes, Nelly, YouTube, Justice for James Broadnax, or on my profile, on my bio, you just click the link and everything is on there.
Right,
I just realized it's already on my bio, the link. Sorry.
Right, I can mod people again. B, comment please off the backup.
I wrote to him because you might remember it. Just hope everything was well. Oh, thank you, thank you, Mariam. I just have to say, what was I saying? I forgot now. I wrote to James because I was doing I finished law school and I decided to do my master's in international human rights law, and it was very big for me to talk about the death penalty because the death penalty is something that not many people know about, especially if you're out of the States. And with the newer generations, the younger, more modern generations, we have a bigger stay in fighting against it. But I wrote to him because I wanted to learn more from him being inside about what it is to be in death row, especially in a case like his where it wasn't fair. Claire, my darling, he was not guilty of capital murder. Yes, thank you. Do you know what? I love it when people just speak for me. I'm just like, thank you, guys. I love you guys.
He always says he was not guilty, but never mentions his cousin.
People don't realize James always was that kind of person that he would go in the fire for other people. And even when his cousin confessed, it was like he was worried about his cousin. And I kept saying to him, as long as thank you so much, thank you. And I kept saying to him, listen, the truth needs to come out. Like the truth needs to come out because at the end of the day, they're about to kill you for something you never did. So yeah. People are still talking about me moving on. Guys, I'm always gonna be Miss Broadnax. Can you imagine a guy trying to marry me and say, "Oh, by the way, you need to change your life. Get out of here." I'm always gonna be Miss Broadnax. Like,
Thank you for the heart, Mies Nunu Pie. Did James mention the truth about his cousin?
yeah. The one reason why with me was because I went through his legal work. I went through like all his thank you. I went through his legal work, and I remember I went to him and I'm like, "How the heck are you here?" Pardon me. How the heck are you in there? And he was like, "Did you read it?" And I'm like, his legal work was so overwhelming. Like it was super overwhelming to show that he didn't do it. So yeah. So I think once I'm settled down and I put everything together, then I'm gonna go through all the legal work with everybody so they can see what I'm talking about.
Thank you for the heart, Mies. Somebody said, why, if his cousin admitted it, why would they not change James's sentence?
As a state, would you want to admit that you was wrong? As a state that is so strong on mass incarceration, on pride, on making themselves be they're the best people, the best government, the best running thing, would you take accountability that to say that you made a mistake? Especially when there's elections, especially when there is like, do you want to risk losing your place, your seat, by admitting that you made a mistake?
It's going to cost them a pretty penny too. I think people, if you don't know, like if you're not familiar with it, if they admit they're wrong, they would have had to pay James out for every year that he was wrongly convicted of said crime. So they're going to obviously do everything they can, because that would have probably been millions of dollars, 17 years.
And that's only that. So can you imagine other cases, like other suits, civil suits that would involve with that? Because there's so much neglect.
Oh, Des, I'm modding you. Sorry. You are now my elite employee. Modded.
17 years, Krishna. No, his cousin's doing life without parole.
Could you go after Texas for the 8th Amendment cruel and unusual punishment?
You could. We all use that. Every death row inmate uses that. I think now we could because of the evidence, but they don't even care. Like, they don't care. Yes, James was always a forgiving person. Like, I struggle with that. James was such a forgiving person. If he told you he forgave you, he meant it. But he would never speak to you again.
Did James ever write to his cousin, or was he allowed to ever, in the end? No.
No.
Thank you, Des.
Thank you.
No. Why is his cousin now only admitting it?
Because he had an execution date. He had an people don't people don't know this, but the lawyers have been telling him for years to speak up, and he keeps saying he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Up until he got a date, and that's when he decided to do it. But he'd been refusing to do it for many, many years because he was worried what was going to happen to him, and because obviously he had to take care of himself, and two, he believed that James was not going to get a date. So I wish he had spoken before the execution date. I wish he did, because my husband wouldn't be dead today. And
if it was ever facilitated and his cousin reached out and said, I don't know, I want to do a video visit, or would you come and visit me? Would you facilitate talking to him, do you think, or would that be out of the question?
I did think about that. And I said to myself, what would I have to say to him?
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person. James used to say this to me before, and he kind of put that into my head. He's like, why do I need to speak to somebody who already knows what happened, already knows the truth? Why do I need to tell them what they did when they already know? So it's like, I think it will be more of a fact that I would just sit there and just listen.
Yeah.
He had his attorneys for 11 years prior. He's had his attorneys for 11 years out of the 17 years he was in death row.
Was the cousin very or really close to James?
Oh, Jodie, I'm glad.
Was James close to Demarius prior
Their mothers
to
were sisters.
Somebody said, oh, I just missed that part. So the cousin has now admitted that he did it post-execution. He admitted to it prior to the execution.
He did it for me. Yes, I kept his wedding ring. His wedding ring is in the box in a bag. James is not having a funeral. He didn't want to have a funeral. He just wanted to be cremated and then I take his ashes. There is a private memorial happening, but that's going to be absolutely private. Yeah. And it won't be in Texas. It will be in a different state.
My husband, Guy and Jody is in here. My husband's case is also having to fight corruption to prove his innocence. Guy's case is really also interesting as well. There's documentaries, YouTubes. So if you're like into that kind of thing, go follow Jody and Guy.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah.
Will you give his ashes to the family?
James wanted me to have everything. Listen, people don't understand. Me and James, we were two peas in a pod. Me and that guy, just him and I in this world. Him and I. My wife, my husband. That's what we ever said. My wife, my husband. My wife, my husband. Oh, you guys are in Georgia. Oh, Georgia system. Oh, the Georgia system is not as bad, but it is bad.
Oh my God, you know whose case you should look into? I had her on live the other day. Her 17-year-old son got charged with capital unaliving because a huge fight broke out, but the person that was unalived had brought their children to home. And he's in Alabama. And yeah, he's been charged with capital. No one charges you for no reason. No, the case is actually very interesting. The reason that they got capital unaliving is because the person that was unalived had brought their kids to the scene, so he got the capital M charge. But it was all in self-defense. It's all on camera, and hopefully he'll get out. But where I was going with that is the justice system is crazy, and especially in Alabama. No, his name is Bug. If you go onto my profile, I did actually post like Casey's profile. It's called Life with Casey, her profile, and her son is called Bug. But if you go on her page, you can read all about her story and how corrupt Alabama is as well.
And they have the nitrogen gas now.
Oh my God, where did I read you just yesterday that there was a state that have said that their main method of the DP now is firing squad?
I can't remember.
I can't remember what state it was. But yeah, they've now said South Carolina, Idaho, Utah. Oh God, there's quite a few states being
There's
chopped.
There's so many because some people can't afford the lethal injection.
Idaho, Utah. Yes, because they couldn't get hold of the injection. They're now just passed the bill that it's going to be firing squad, which is crazy. A lot of people as well, I've read, don't think that the DR is still in California, but I read that it actually still is.
So they have the DR, but they have a memorandum. So the memorandum is pretty much pausing it indefinitely for now.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it's completely abolished. So at any moment, the governor can lift it off, which means that, for example, right now they have Gavin Newsom. He's against it. He doesn't see there's any point of the death penalty. He's paused it. But then he can leave his next term and somebody else can come in and then he can undo it. So yeah, so it's just suspended for now.
That's crazy. He said he watched people with the injection suffer so that he's choosing the firing squad.
Yeah, so remember I said that you could some places you can pick what form of execution you want.
I think there is a case. I think that's why I was reading about the state that have just changed it. There was a man that has said, "I don't want the
Yeah.
injection. I want the firing squad."
Yeah, it happened last year. It was an elderly man.
Somebody just said, "I watched a failed unaliving of a 14-year-old boy."
Yes, that little boy, he got executed by electrocution chair. And he got put he you
Holy
know he got
shit.
sat on he was so small that he got sat on a bunch of books to be executed.
And he was innocent. Fucking hell. 14 years old, man.
I understand when you say 100% guilty, but what people don't understand that the law works differently, and I feel like I'm going into like legal lessons, but the law works very different in terms of how you can determine if that person is in for capital murder, for manslaughter. So you cannot just say he is 100% guilty to that, because the way the legal testings are done and the way it is tested in court and the law is interpreted, you're not always 100% guilty of one crime. So that's the problem. That's why it frustrates me, but then I have to be understanding that people don't know the law properly, but the way the law is interpreted plays a big role on how guilty you are to something. um it's very
Thank you for the gifts. Makeup by Tallulah.
complicated, and that mix emotions with law. Thank you.
Not even the lie detector is 100%. That's why it's not admissible in court.
I'm not in the law lab, I'm in the studio. In the house I'm staying right now, they have a lovely studio, but they've got a nice bookshelf of library books. This is actually all Texas history over here.
The
This is
Tanner
all
Horner.
Texas history book.
I keep seeing that over and over again. Like, what's the opinion on Tanner Horner? What's the? I think you have to remember James's case is completely different from Tanner Horner's, for one. Two, I've said it, in my opinion, the DR is a cop out. It's an easy way out. He's going to be by himself, isolated. The only people that are going to really give him a hard time are COs. I think chuck him in general population with the rest of them, and that will be that. He'll be done next week, and it will be cheaper because he will now probably be on DR with all the appeals and stuff that he'll probably go through for longer than Athena was even alive. So just chuck him in the general pop and let him fend for himself would be the best way. Let him go awfully, in my opinion. Stretch it out. Do your worst. But no, he'll be the only thing that he's going to have to fight now is his own brain, which he obviously did have an unaliving attempt already. But that's the only punishment, really. He's going to be alone with his own brain. But I think, yeah, general population, him.
He's actually really struggling in there already.
Good.
I
And also for
can't
people
speak
that keep
about it,
saying
but
he's in Huntsville, he's not in Huntsville.
he's in Polensky
He's
unit.
in Zelensky.
I'm not going to speak about what's going on with him in there, because obviously that's not my business and not my case. I can't speak about him, but oh, thank you, Brie. But yeah, he's not doing well. That's all I can say.
Did you want to somebody wait, if you put your hands on kids, you don't need DP, you need it unalive in prison. I don't know, I just don't agree with the DP. Like, for example, okay, leading on to James's unaliving certificate, it says homicide. How could you ever agree with that for an innocent man? I can't.
The DP is meant to deter criminals and the M charge, right? What people don't realize is that it has never done, because the general population has worse cases than the people that are on death penalty. No, so they say no. It doesn't mean that it's from natural causes, because it's no homicide does not mean. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. So yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that general population has horrendous crimes in there. Like, people don't realize Nicholas Cruz, mass M, school, 14 people, including kids and teachers. He's doing life without parole, by the way. Because they said that he had circumstances that he cannot be put on DP. There are so many people. Look at the guy who pleaded guilty. There was a guy last year who had a case. He pleaded guilty. He went into a house of students and he unalived them. He pleaded guilty. He got life without parole. There are worse people, where there are people who actually, they no homicide, whether it be lethal injection, no other homicide is justifiable. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that you can't justify, oh yeah, Kornberger, yep, there we go. Like, there are so many cases where, like, there are people who do worse ways of things, right? They're doing life without parole. They're in general population.
Chris Watts should have got.
Yeah, the proportionality.
Chris Watts, exactly. What the hell? Or the David might get the deep. Just out of curiosity, what did Erica Kirk's husband's unaliver get?
He still hasn't had his trial yet.
He still hasn't.
He still hasn't had his trial yet. But they just dropped Luigi Mangioni's DP, and
They are
he most likely will get his. Yeah, they are seeking it, but I think they're trying to drop it as well for him. People don't understand, to be charged with capital M, there needs to be somebody that's passed away, plus in the instance of a robbery, more than one person, SA. So it has to be unalivement with a list of, it has to fall under one of the lists. So you can't just be put under capital murder. You have to, it has to be like, I don't know, I'm trying to explain it the TikTok way, but I don't know how to explain it the TikTok way, because somebody said Luigi.
What do you know? What the Okay, so what are the conditions? So, for example, people keep asking, why did Demarius get life without parole and James get the death penalty? What am I trying to say? What is it that makes it DP worthy? If that makes sense. Like, how do they determine DP?
What makes it DP worthy? They don't determine it. They manipulate it. So, for example, with James, they felt that they had the proof through the interview, and then they found the main perpetrator to the case, and they said, and obviously it depends who the victim's families choose to throw it for. So, for example, in our case, in James's case, the family wanted James to have the DP. They pushed for it, and they got what they wanted. When it came to Demarius, they offered him a plea deal, and we don't know if he took it or not. He says he never did, but they never pursued it on him, even though they both could have had it.
Right.
So it all it plays a big. Sorry, pardon me. Loads of things play a big part in it. It's not, and that's what hurts me the most, is the fact that they don't follow the law the way they should be. It's about how they want to pursue it.
Right. The DP should be abolished when privatization in prison stops and they stop making money from it. I think that's what a lot of people, if you don't have any dealings with the justice system in America, you wouldn't particularly know that. But money is a big motivator. It's very corrupt.
Somebody just messaged who turned James and Damaris in. Now I'm going to tell you that story because everyone keeps talking about it. What happened was, this is what I've been told, right? What happened was that when they went to this auntie's house, apparently they went to this auntie's house, Demarius was boasting about it. And the auntie, she wasn't an auntie, she was like, I don't even know, she was like a family friend. And obviously she came to find out that if you call Crime Stoppers, you get like $3,000-4,000 for reporting it, right? So she went off and reported it, but I believe she was related to Demarius and not James. And obviously to save Demarius, she threw James in, threw James under the bridge. And she testified in court that it was James, which was false. It was under perjury. Like, it was, so yeah. She lied on everything. She's passed away now, God bless her soul. But yeah, because her testimony wasn't even taken serious after, because it didn't match to what she was saying.
That's crazy. Just everything was corrupt. The way that they dropped the jurors, made sure that he had only white people. Like, oh, it just makes me sick, the whole thing.
One thing I can say is, if you find somebody so guilty beyond reasonable doubt, you don't have to manipulate a court. You don't. You don't have to go above and beyond to manipulate a court. Like, if you're so guilty, you don't like, as a litigant, you don't have to manipulate the court because you have everything. You're, as a prosecutor, your job is to find every evidence to prove somebody is guilty. So why did you have to manipulate the court in order to find them guilty? You said you had every evidence.
Do you think the legal system is better in the UK or the US?
Better, yes, but
Still
the
flawed.
legal system is always going to find its, like, everything has its good and bad. But I can tell you now, defendants are way more protected under human rights in the UK than they are in the US. How am I coping? I don't know. I probably sound crazy for saying this. Sometimes I just speak, and then I'd say to myself, Tiana, you can't, like, I don't know. Like I was just saying earlier, every day, every hour is so different. Do they have the DP in the UK? No, they don't have the DP in the UK. It was abolished and then
We do have IPP sentences.
bring the DP in the UK because they're under the EU human rights. Gosh, we've turned it into like a law class in here.
IPP sentences are, it was, for example, what James was done for. It's you're guilty by association. So even though
Oh no,
you,
James wasn't done guilty by association.
what people are saying, for example, he was there,
Okay.
so he was guilty, if that makes sense. That's actually a law in
Yeah.
the UK. Like, it can be done. Yeah, IPP sentences. How did you and James meet? And wait, there was a really good question. Do you still listen to his voice a lot?
Yeah. Yeah. I have so many recordings of him. Like, I'm glad I took them. Yeah.
Oh,
He was
Brick. I can tell my dibble dabbling with UK inmates has come to an end. I don't know the rules and regulations anymore. AI summary: debating the DR penalty and the corrupt justice system. Join the discussion. Hell yeah. What was James's final day like?
a lot of crying, a lot of crying, a lot of talking, a lot of it was just all it was so emotional. I have never seen my husband cry so much in my whole entire life. Like the 2 years of knowing him, speaking to him. Yes, we had taken photos for our wedding day. We've taken photos even on the day of his execution, and I can't, like, if you see us, we just look like it's so scary to see the difference between our wedding day and the day of execution. The photos, you could see how much they had drained us. A lot of crying. And I think what was so overwhelming for him in that point was he just kept saying, I never realized how many people loved me and how many people would fight for me. I can see his face right now, the way he just cried. This was a 6'2" man, 190 pounds. Like he was a big guy, everybody like, but see, and I think that's what was the biggest thing for him. He couldn't believe that he could be like, obviously with me, he knew I loved him. So it was like, I know my wife loves me, but he was so overwhelmed about the amount of people that was supporting him.
Somebody said about contact, how come they don't let you hug on the last day? And what was the last meal?
They don't let you touch the inmates no matter what, because they have to run with the theatrics of believing that death row inmates are the most dangerous people on earth. Yes, he did think that it could be stopped. He had so much faith that he was good. Not even him, like, the tablets that they give to you, the Securus tablets. He told me, like, on the day, he told me that one of the CEOs was like, look, I'm gonna put it on the side here, so when you come back, we don't have to rush in trying to get you a new one. It will just be there for you, and we'll just give it to you. That's how much people thought that he was gonna get a stay.
A lot of the other inmates as well thought that he was coming back, didn't they? They didn't think that he was going. They were like, yeah, we'll see you soon, bro.
How long did I know him for? 2 years. 2 years, guys. 2 years. 2 years. More than 20. I would say 2 years. More than 24 months, but 2 years. Thank you.
So do they take him there not saying if it was happening for sure?
Yeah. There's a protocol. The whole thing is a protocol. There are people that lay down strapped up in the last minute, and it rings, the phone rings. Mental torture. I'm still mentally tortured even now, a week and a half later. Yes. Yes, he went into the building not knowing. He was strapped in not knowing. He knew. Once I walked in that room, he knew it was happening. Bearing in mind, they requested a date for James twice before. And on the third time, they took him.
Somebody said you saw it. They locked her in the room. You're locked in to make it worse. The victim's family also watch as well. It's not just the not just the loved ones.
Have I had any signs from him? I don't know. Do you know what? I'm still confused about this whole sign stuff. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture. I don't know if do people get. I don't know. Like, I'm Christian, so we believe the spirit is sleeping until Jesus Christ comes back and he tells everybody to get back up. So I don't know. Loads of people say he's watching it. I genuinely don't know. I'm still trying to process my brain. I don't know. I've never been that kind of person to be like, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to find photo. See if I can find any photos of us.
You just keep saying barbaric. It definitely is barbaric, yeah. Who gives the injection? While she's looking for a photo, I can answer some of these questions. Somebody is a volunteer. People volunteer to press the button. And the only reason that the doctor is there is to declare the person unalived, because it goes against their ethics. They're not allowed to do it, so it's somebody that volunteers to do it. Again, the victim's family watches in one room, and the loved ones of the person that's about to be unalived is in a separate room. And media are also there. There was 2 people from the media that obviously went and watched it happen as well. The doctor is only there to declare the person unalived. They are not allowed to administer the injection because it goes against their policy of ethics. No, she was not in the same room as the loved one. I love that photo.
That was our wedding day.
He had his hair cut.
I'm so tired. Yeah. So actually, let me do this. Actually, I want to show you both what 2 weeks of stress and mental torture did to us. So you guys saw that photo of us, right? Let me show you what happened to us 2 weeks later. To be honest, everyone's seen without makeup anyways, so I don't really care.
I think you look bloody incredible. You don't look like what you've been through at all.
Thank you. Gosh, you're making me blush. To be honest, at this point, I don't care what happens because people have seen us. I swear, it is the scariest thing about all of this is people see you in your worst, and in that moment you don't care because you're just going through so much. Where is it? You remember that picture, right? Of how we looked so glowy and everything else? Look what happened to us in 2 weeks.
Tired. You still
Crying.
look good.
And then his ring. We have so many other pictures we just haven't shared. So, yeah. So you can see how we were together for 2 years. You could see how it drained us in a space of 2 weeks. And that was literally 2 hours before he got sent to Huntsville to be executed.
Oh.
Did you and James ever talk about? Yes, we spoke about kids, we spoke about family, we spoke about everything. Everything. Casey Johnson. Wait, I have seen this before. Just love to do too much.
Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the gifts, guys. It's appreciated. I'm waiting for these comments are going.
I know.
Thank you, Jen. Did he look? I hate this question because it's horrible and I always cry. But somebody said, did he look scared when it was happening?
Yes, terrified. terrified. He had tears coming down his eyes. He's clenching his jaw so that you could see like his temple would clench. Just terrified, and he always said to me, "I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared." As a wife, no matter if he's on death row or not, when you see your husband, because you're so used to your husband being a strong person mentally, physically, when you see your husband be tell you he's scared, that's when you know this is not good. No, it was just me. The only family, the only person he wanted was me.
Somebody said it's too bad you didn't do a posthumous sperm retrieval. You could have had his child.
Texas don't allow stuff like that. I know a few people that have tried to do that, but Texas don't allow it.
Did his family believe him?
I don't know. Never asked them. I think people don't realize because Damaris and James were cousins, because their mothers were sisters. People never realized that that caused a lot of like problems within the family. So that was something that could never be spoken to about. And I didn't want to speak to people about it because if I heard stupidness, then I wouldn't be happy. So sometimes it's best not to ask questions when you don't want answers that you probably not like. I have, I'll be honest with you, I have had the greatest support out here. I have so much support everywhere. Like, honestly, Emma's been messaging me every day. Like, how are you? How are you? How are you? I love it. Even now, like, I have the best support system. People have got together and they've literally just, I am so ever so grateful. Like, I was just saying that I'm so like James would be so happy to know that I'm okay. Um, yeah, not Agne. Sorry to I can't pronounce your name. Not for death row inmates. You have to remember, death row inmates are seen to be the most dangerous people. They're made out to be the most dangerous people that they don't even want them to breed because they're worried that if they have a child that their child would be a monster like them. Like make it make sense as if a parent don't raise their kids to be the way they want to be. Like I don't understand it.
This is a question that I've never asked you or really thought about. Are you, even though you're a DR inmate, even after death, are you still property of the state or are you released? Like, how does that work? If that makes sense.
What, after you pass away?
Yeah. Are you still theirs? Do you know what I mean? No.
No. So as the minute they take their last breath, you then become the property of the wife
Right.
or a family member. And if you're not claimed, they just bury you in their own cemetery. They are the most best behaved. Obviously, let me tell you something. Death row inmates are the most best behaved. But you have to remember, not everyone is best behaved in there. I have never disagreed with, because I truly believe some people just need to be in prison. I'm so sorry. Some people just need to be in there. The rehabilitation is very, very hard for them. So yeah.
See, she said before, COs actually enjoy working death row because it's the calmest, safest, and it's got the best aircon, I learned.
It's got the best AC, yeah. Yes, I take him with me. I'm so glad, finally. Yeah, I'm in contact. I'm not directly in contact with the guys in the row, um, but I am in contact with their family members and their wives. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Um, I'll be honest with you, I will not directly message inmates in the row anymore. Never did. James was the only one and will continue to be the only one.
Mexicana. I think that is a question that you get asked, and I see it a lot in the comments, is will you continue to fight for other cases of people that are on DR? I think you've answered that before.
For not individual cases, no. I'll leave that to the lawyers, but I will fight for against the system. Yes. I just don't want to go back in there. I can't. I can't go back in there. I can't go back into that visitation room. I can't. Thank you. Thank you so much. What's that?
Could you
Sorry,
contact James on his tablet all day, and did you have to pay for the prison phone calls?
yes and yes. Not receiving his phone calls is the hardest thing ever. Like even now, it's like 4:24 here, and I screenshotted all the last calls I received from him and the voicemails, and I did get all of his property, yes. Everything. Absolutely everything.
Suze has asked, were the calls expensive?
$2.66 a call.
Ooh.
Which is like $2 £2 a call.
Yeesh, yeah, that. How long are they? Are they half an hour's or 15 minutes?
Half an hour's, but you call them back to back to back to back to back.
Freaking heck. Yeesh. I think Michigan was like $1 something in the end, and even I thought that was bad. California is free, which I think is great.
I know, right?
But 266, yay. That's a lot. My son is in prison. His is 10 cents a minute. Okay.
£40 a week. Oh, I wish it was £40 a week.
Ohio, 63
We did
cents.
6 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Somebody said, I hope you use your personal experience to help people that are wrongly incarcerated.
100%. 100%. That's what James wanted me to do. That's what James wanted me to do.
Was he
Yes,
allowed?
he was allowed. Yeah.
Thank you, KK.
He was allowed. People don't like people. I finished law school. People don't understand that James was such a star prisoner. Like he never had his restrictions. He never had like anything taken away from him. He was so easy to work with. The CEOs can tell you if they're on there. Like he was just such a chill. He was so quiet and so chilled. Like they only heard his voice when he spoke to me on the phone because he would be goofy and silly. But like honestly, James was like the easiest person to deal with.
Somebody said, what would you even say to him? Wasn't it so sad to just know that it was coming to an end?
It was just, I love you. That was it. I love you. I'm sorry. He kept saying to you, I don't like, you can never, one thing in those situations, there is never enough things to ever say. There's never enough. There will never be enough. Like, because you want more. Even when I went to see his body, I couldn't get enough. But like, that's how we was. We just, we never got enough of each other. Time would go so quick. would see each other for 4 hours. Like the 2 hour visits were the worst because they felt like 2 minutes. And then the 4 hour visits felt like 4 minutes. And it's like we'll just look at the time and all of a sudden it's gone. They'll be like, you have 5 minutes remaining, like, and I'm like, oh, and they'll give your ID back. And it's just like,
On a
and then
normal month, sorry,
Hmm?
to interrupt you. On a normal month, do DR inmates get like a certain amount of visits a month, like 4 or 5, or is it unlimited visits?
They get, so if you're not from a long distance, you get one visit a week for 2 hours.
Okay.
If and that was either on a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Saturday evening. And then if you've traveled from far, you get a special visit, which is Tuesday, Thursday for 4 hours each on the same week, but only once a month.
Wow. Somebody said, did he leave you a letter that he never told you about to clarify his feelings?
Clarify his feelings about what?
Somebody said, how well can you hear him behind the glass?
Perfect. Which glass? So this is the thing. There's so many different glass in general when I would visit him, or glass in the day of execution. If it was visitation, you have a phone. So there's phones that are connected, but you can't hear without the phone. And on the day of execution, I heard them perfectly fine. Oh,
Did
those
you,
glass.
when you went into that room, did you know that he was going to be able to hear you, or no, you didn't know, did you?
I didn't know. I didn't know until I ran to the window and I started speaking to him. And then he responded, and I was like, "You can hear me?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, he can hear you." And then from that moment, we were just speaking.
I think that's a really profound comment to keep making as well. I love this comment. Tiana, you gave James the best 2 years of his life. You are so brave and we are so proud of you. Thank you for the roses, Amber.
Thank you. He only left 2 letters, one for me and one for my child. Yes, everybody in there could hear.
Somebody said, could the family, the victim's family, hear you?
Yeah.
Thank you, Hales, for the gifts and the roses. Thank you, thank you. Somebody's asking, will you be a funeral? Would there be a funeral, and did the victim's family go to the unaliving?
There will not be a funeral. There is a memorial, and their victims' families, yes, they were very vocal that they want to see him take his last breath.
Somebody's asking, do the victim's family get to say anything in the room? And is his family involved? Why doesn't his mum get his stuff?
These are very personal questions. No, the victims' families have a say in the background, which they did, because they pushed, they had their contact. In terms of his mother, I'm his wife. He requested only me to be there. He only requested me to take his belongings, and the only thing I'm going to say is there was never a proper relationship with his mother, and that's as far as I'm going to say.
And not to mention, he wanted his ashes to be kept as a whole and
Yes.
with his wife. He didn't want to be separated.
No, we cannot be in the same room with the victim. Okay, God forbid.
Somebody said, do the victim's family, do they get to say any last words?
No. Well, they did get their last words on social media, but not to him.
Right.
James wanted to speak to them. James actually, so James wanted to speak to them. James really, really, really wanted to speak to them. The mothers said they never want to speak to him. James actually did write to them when he first got given the death penalty to tell them that he never did it and to apologize for what had happened in the time. They ignored him. He was supposed to see one of the victims' daughters, but unfortunately that wasn't possible due to the TDC, the victim support, playing stupid games. But James really, really wanted to see them. Like, he wanted to speak to them. Like, I remember he
Thank you, Amber.
when the daughter wanted to go see him, he was like, yes, of course, like, I want to go speak to her, and I owe it to her to go speak. So Jess, Mary, honey, please just go read the facts, honey, because I really don't have time for you. Like, yeah. So
3 comments about last meals. Last meals don't exist in Texas anymore.
yeah.
The victim's family looked like they had no soul. They came out with drinks. Somebody said, why did they stop the last meals in Texas?
An inmate, decided to order about $100 worth of food, and out of spite, he didn't eat it.
Mimi said, how do they decide when each inmate actually goes up for unaliving?
So what happens is the Attorney General, who in Texas is Ken Paxton, he will keep an eye on every one of the inmates on death row's appeals cases. Once the appeals process starts to come to an end, and especially if the victims' families are badgering, or they know the victims' families very well and they're pushing for the execution date, the Attorney General will then request for an execution date from the district judge. The district judge will then look into it and see if all the appeals have been exhausted. A majority of the time, they're never always exhausted. And what happens is that there will be a lot of pressure, a lot of pushing, a lot of crap that happens in the background, and they end up with an execution date.
The victim's family have quite a lot of say in it as well, don't they? When it comes to the actual date and stuff. Thank you, Lorianne. I think that's how you say your name. I'm not sure, I might have just butchered it. What was his favourite food and movie?
Favorite food was enchiladas. Favorite movie. Yeah, so many. I don't even know, because they changed every flipping. We would watch a movie and you'd be like, "Oh, this is my favorite movie now," and I'm like, "You just changed your movie about 15 times."
Amber Paint said, did he send you any art?
Yes. I'm so annoyed that I left everything in the other house. Like, I can't be bothered to go over there because it's a long way. But so yeah, it's annoying because he sent me, and I wanted to show people the painting he drew before he met me, and it resembles exactly me. So it's weird, but yeah.
Somebody said, how long? Oh, I don't even want to ask that. That's a bit of a morbid question.
What's that?
They were asking how long are they on the bed before they are unalived?
I don't know. I actually don't know because I wait downstairs whilst they're putting him on the bed.
Somebody said it's giving divine intentional meeting.
What does that mean?
Basically, that you guys met intentionally for a purpose.
Oh, I believe so too. I believe so. Did we watch movies together? Yes, we watched a lot of. We actually watched more sermons, church sermons than movies. The last movie we watched together was Beauty and the Beast.
Somebody said, if not for you, I would have never known about it all the way in Michigan.
Oh, thank you. Do you thank somebody for it?
If you are biracial, how do you determine which way you identify, i.e. black or white in the US? If you're biracial, you're black.
Yeah, you're black in the US. We don't have, see, it's not like the UK where you have this whole list of different ethnicities. In the UK, you're either black, white, or Hispanic.
I
Unless they've
agree. I'm
changed.
from Michigan. I think I've got quite a few Michigan people on here because my husband was incarcerated in Michigan. That is wild.
If the victim's family say no to DR, does that make a difference? Yes.
Pennsylvania, no way.
Yes.
Did you get to hug him before?
Was he a Christian before I met him? Yes, he was a Christian, but he didn't have people to keep him accountable. And he didn't, he kept backsliding.
Did the cousin get the death penalty? And did the victim's family believe the cousin did it?
They knew the cousin did it. Yes, I can speak full Albanian. It might be a bit broken, but I can.
Did you meet him whilst he was incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
He said, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
How are you doing after everything?
Day by day. Literally day by day.
Jess Mary, nobody asked you. To be honest.
Do you know what? People, like, with all due respect, people like Jess Mary, no matter how you put it plain on them, like, you could literally put it in a massive billboard, you could put it in any way, and they will still say they don't understand. So I don't, that's why I've been ignoring her.
Somebody said, I hope you continue to try and help other people with your law degree in similar situations.
Yeah.
Somebody said, are you going to write a book?
I don't know. I don't know. Everyone's asking me so many questions. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I just want to do what James asked me to do, was fight against this. How it comes, I don't know. How do I feel about the law now? The law is the law. The law is created for a reason, but what I don't like is the way that people abuse their power to interpret the law their own way. Pardon me, and they put the law to use the law that benefits them. The law should not benefit one person. It should benefit everybody in the case or in any type of shape or form, you know? And that's why I always say that the UK justice system, people just need to stop doing anything stupid, but like the UK justice system, they protect both defendant and both sides of the court. It does it prosecution and defense. Like, I don't know.
Somebody said if the family
wanted it to have stopped, could it have stopped, basically?
Yes, so it could have stopped if they fought hard for it. If they turned around and went to Greg Abbott, and like there's been a guy that was commuted because the victim's family went and literally begged Greg Abbott to stop it, and it was stopped.
Wow. I see DR as like a revenge punishment, if I'm honest. It doesn't seem like a justice. Like nobody wins in the end, really.
I don't know.
When you think they were a Christian family, the family had a whole website with a countdown, like it was some kind of birthday party countdown.
What people don't realize is you can call yourself a Christian, but if you don't apply the fruits of the spirit that Jesus Christ said that we should apply when it comes to other people, then what are you really doing? We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. People sin. Jesus also mentions that. But I don't know. I can't speak for nobody anymore. Like at this point, you just got to leave them to God, and you just got to pray, because
Thank you for the roses, Taylor, and the follows and everything. It's appreciated. I just don't like cutting T off when she's speaking and answering questions.
so that's okay. That's okay. Cut me off because I speak a lot. So
Somebody said you must be exhausted. I think people have to realize we're only like a week and a half, 2 weeks in. She's still grieving.
yeah.
Somebody said the death penalty is an oxymoron, for sure, because how does the person that pressed that button go home at night and get in their bed and go to sleep knowing that you've taken somebody's life? Although it's legal, you've still taken somebody's life. Like, that is still on your conscience. I don't understand. I don't get it. But no, I'm not even going to go down the abortion route, but they ban that. And then to watch is so sick. Yeah, it's crazy. Who decides who presses the button? That's crazy to me. They volunteer. Death penalty is still murder, regardless of whether it's legal. I believe so as well.
Do you know what it is? I think I was having a back and forth with the victims' families the last week, right? Because of everything that they were doing. And it came to a point where I had to really realize, like, if I keep on acting bitter, it's not going to bring my husband back. Like, at the end of the day, they've killed him. But what I can do, and James always hated back and forth pettiness. Like, he used to call me Petiana.
Tiana.
Yeah, that's how petty I used to get. But so my job is, when I'm not forgiving people, I'm only hurting myself, and I'm becoming more bitter. And through bitterness, you start creating health issues. And that's the thing. But I wanted to mention something. So when we first got the execution date, we were told that there was only 5 injections for 2026 that they had purchased. There was 6 execution days. You know that the Thursday execution just got a stay. And they had to give a stay because of what they just did to James, and the way that James was such a big case that they're trying to clear their face by saying, oh, look, we're still fair. We're going to give the next one a stay. That's what I'm saying. People don't know the things that we know inside the system. Like, people are just like, oh, he's guilty. He confessed. He said FM. He did. Da, 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 da. Like, we already knew there was 5 injections for 2026. We knew that somebody was going to get a stay, right? But because of the people that were pushing to get him executed,
Could
what
you
did they
explain
do?
what a stay is for them too?
A stay is he got a temporary stay. So it means that when you get given a stay of execution, it pauses your execution temporarily. It's not permanent, because then once it's temporary, it only stops it to try and get it back in the courts, but it's only temporary. So stay doesn't mean it's permanent. It just means that it's been stopped for now. He got a stay back in 2020, I think, already, the one that is meant to be executed on Thursday. But actually, just to let you guys know, he got a temporary stay because one judge is saying he should get it and one judge is saying is no. So they're still waiting to have the final answer what's going to happen to him on Thursday. Yeah.
Dramatic. Do you think
But am I surprised? No.
do you think in a way, like, to put like a nicer spin on it, do you think that James's life hasn't been lost in vain? Because even if they do give the pardon, he may have saved somebody's life in a weird way. Does that make sense? Like, because
Yeah.
you've brought so much awareness to it, they know that they've got eyes on them at the minute, and they've perhaps given a pardon, and he's invertedly saved somebody else's life for the time being.
Yeah. But people need to realize, because you get a stay, there's still, when you get a stay,
Still
they
have.
come after your neck even more. So it's like you may get a stay today, but they will then come after your neck even worse. Like Robert Robertson, he's had 3 execution dates.
Oh,
3. And they're still trying to give him another one.
somebody says, is your husband's story out there? I want to read about it. Go on to Tiana's page and it's all on there. You can go on YouTube. We're on Instagram.
Toy Toy, yes, the death penalty is impacted by race, especially if the victims of the case are white and the defendant is of African American, then the chances of you getting the death penalty is way more higher than if it was African American against African American or white on white. If you look at a lot of cases where white people are on the death, it's predominantly because they were either women or trans. This all can be found on the DPIC, which is the Death Penalty Information Center. So you can find all the statistics on. I sound like a flipping.
That's why we're doing these lives as well, to bring awareness and clear James's name, because although he's not with us in physical being, that was one of James's last wishes, is that not to let his, unaliving be without a cause. So that's why we're on here speaking. We're literally live maybe 2, 3 times a week. We're going to keep talking about it until you're bored, and literally until there's only like 1 viewer in here, and we're still going to talk about it. So we're going to talk. And the reason that I'm in the corner down here is because the people on my TikTok are normally people in the prison community world. So that's kind of the target audience. Before people ask, why am I in the little corner? And so I can moderate all this. Yeah, she feels safer because you're all kind of mean sometimes, okay? Making money from your deceased husband. You know how funny this is, Gracie? Tiana thought the little emojis that kept popping up was like MSN emojis. She had no idea that people were gifting her. She had no idea what that even meant. She is not in the creator fund. I know that for a fact, because she doesn't even probably know what that even means. I can tell you that for a fact. So how is she monetizing off of her husband's unaliving? Is crazy. Like... Crazy.
Yeah, so apart from the interview, they had nothing else. They had nothing else. They used lyrics that he wrote in a book when they found him and in a bag. They just, yeah. But in terms of monetization, in terms of making, let me tell you something, because I always keep it real, right? One, I have not made nothing from this, but lost my husband, right? And how do I put this without being rude? Do you know what? Let me not say anything.
You've gained a lifetime of trauma. You're going to have to pay for therapy. You've had to pay for travel costs. You've had to pay for the expense of eating and keeping yourself self-sufficient while you're in another country. It's also nobody's business what her financial status is, what she makes money from, or anything else. It's definitely not off of her trauma. Like,
Someone said something interesting to me about our relationship being private, and that it only came on social media for help. Like everything was so private. Like everything was so private. Like it was not a secret. It was definitely private because that's how we wanted it to be. Like we never glamorized our relationship. We never like it was nothing to be glamorized about. We both never liked the fact that we was in this situation. Like we both always had that conversation. One of the consistent thing that we always spoke about is that we did not like the fact that we was in this situation, because if it was on the outside,
cloudy,
it would, thank you so much. If it was on the outside, this would have been incredible. Like, I'm so sorry to say this to some people, but I could fully sleep next to this person, knocked out, and not worry, unlike some people. Like, so my relationship with it was super private, super private. I wore this ring for a whole year.
Somebody said, was there anybody else in contact with James before that you met him?
Yeah, so many people. People don't realize, guys, you don't realize how bombarded these death row inmates are from people. Like I mean, they have better social life than us in the outside. Like they literally, like, people will write so much to them. Yeah.
Somebody said, did you first speak to him for study and work purposes? And who presses the button on the day?
Yeah, so I contacted him for study purposes. I contacted him. No, like it was not. It does not fall under unprofessional because it was never like a client and whatever. My English is gone. And we will never know who pressed it.
It's a volunteer. I love to throw that out there because everybody's so astonished, because I was astonished. Somebody volunteers to press that little button.
It was a CEO volunteer, yeah.
Crazy. Somebody said, were you independently researched or were you sponsored? And somebody said, did you get to have a funeral for him? Or is he still considered property of the state?
He is, it feels weird to say this, but he is my property.
That's her man. That's her husband.
Yeah. Legally, spiritually, physically, mentally, mine.
How was he unalived? It was the injection. He was innocent, Steph. You are right. It is
if he wasn't, guys, if he wasn't innocent, the Innocence Project would have never got involved. You can go on the Innocent Project website right now and he's on there.
Who chooses the way of unaliving?
Well, Texas only has a lethal injection, so that's the only form of execution for them.
I love that comment. Somebody said, you're one of the bravest people I've ever come across. Isn't she?
Thank you. Thank you.
Isn't she just?
D, I will message you. I'll WhatsApp you soon. in a
Did
second.
you,
When I
did you
came off this.
guys get yeah, I was going to say, so we'll do the 15-minute countdown. We'll give you guys another 15 minutes to ask questions, because I can tell when you get drained of answering the same question over and over. Tia Torres talks about the Innocent Project that you mentioned. I can actually put you in contact with Tia Torres because Gabriella and Jamal had a lot of contact with Tia. She actually also rescues pit bulls. That's why we love her. Somebody said, what happens if nobody volunteers?
There's always somebody there to
I was
do
going to
it.
say, these are COs. These are little bullied, glorified mall cops. They're just one above a mall cop. I love to remind them of that sometimes. There's always going to be somebody.
And to the Albanians, thank you so much. Faleminderit. They're wishing him. They're sending me condolences in Albanian.
What was the favorite thing about your husband?
His sense of humor. His sense of humor. His love. Listen, I know some people are going to be like, meh, 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 little chihuahuas, but the way that man loved me, boy, oh boy, oh boy. The
Yes.
way that guy was just like, oh.
The CO means correctional officer. Bethan said, the way that your eyes light up when you speak of him is absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Thank you.
Every time, without shadow of a doubt, she always lights up. Lorianne, what did you say? I missed. I thought it was a doctor. Doctors aren't allowed to do it because it goes against their ethic practice. They're only there to announce the unaliving. I know the answer to this, and I love when you talk about it because it makes me fucking howl. Did you bicker about anything? They used to go to court.
What? Yeah, we had court style arguments. I bickered all them. We just bickered. Like, we were just, I don't even know, man. We used to, would it be weird to say, we used to argue like siblings? Like, and then it will be like, it will get dragged, and then he will just say a joke, or I'll say a joke, and then we'll forget about it, or he will just cuss my forehead and say, you big forehead, or and I'll call him a big head, and then it will just be done. Like, we'll just say something stupid to each other. But we used to like bicker all the time, and then it would just be gone. Yeah.
Olivia said, you are so incredibly brave. Thank you for making a difference. I'm going to do this again because I loved doing it before. If you have been in this live stream and if you have learned anything about James's case, this is the first time hearing James's case, or you've been educated, please put a little blue heart in the chat. And I say blue heart because it was James's favourite. Because I like just to show Tiana how much of a difference she's made, and she can physically see it when you guys do this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
And this is why when people say, why are you still speaking about it? If you see all of these blue hearts in the chat, that's exactly why we do these live streams. And I think it's an incredibly brave thing to do, to come on here and talk about something so traumatic and educate people that are so ignorant. I think it's incredibly brave.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. How am I coping? Like I said earlier, I don't know. Like, I just take it day by day. I think the people that I have around me, they're incredible. They pray for me. They pray with me. They keep me busy. Like, they are just, honestly, I'm with one of the best families ever. They've given me the studio to be on live. They've given me they've got like a nice house, pool house, like that's all to me. Like, they have just been taking care, loads of people have been taking care of me. People flew from other states to help me. It's been incredible, the support I've received, even from people like on social media. The amount of, I know I've not replied to loads of people, but I've seen all the Will I ever talk to another DR male? No.
Thank you for the gifts, Olivia. I'm
Honestly,
on
the
her
amount of
ass as
people.
well.
Yeah, like Emma,
I'm
Emma
on
is a
her
different
ass.
level.
Like,
Like Emma's a different level. And I love her for it. I have not been able to reply to everybody. I just have to be so grateful. What is his favorite song? He used to love Sade. Sade was his babe. And he liked all her songs. Yeah. The Lady in White, Are You Still With Your Husband? The Lady in White has a name, and does it matter? Like,
oh, monkey mugshots. That is so incredible. Somebody said you have definitely made me rethink my views on the death penalty.
I think when it comes to the death penalty, I don't insist and demand people to stop believing in it. I just ask people to study about it and to look into it more, like the Death Penalty Information Center, the TDCJ death row information. Like, just study into it and you can decide from there. Who am I to tell you what to believe in and what not to believe in? Um, yeah.
Lulu said, "What did you mean sleeping next to him? How does that work?" I think what Tiana
Oh
was
no.
saying is she would have felt safe to sleep next to him.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "What was the exact song? Because they want to listen to it by Sade."
Oh, I always forget it. 2 seconds quickly.
While she's looking, I can answer some of your questions again. Does she have his ashes? Yes, she does. She is keeping them because that's what he requested and he wanted to be kept all together. Will they go after the cousin now for the death penalty? No, they will not. If it was used correctly, I'd be all for it, but you can't bring the innocent back. Yup. Will she ever remarry? Nope. Do women go on the get DR? Yes, there's currently a woman on DR.
There's 7 in Texas, I believe. Seven women, and 2 have been proven innocent.
Will the cousin stay in prison? Yes, he's got life without parole. So I may sound crazy, but genuinely, do you think the stronger a case gets, the more they push for a date? I don't know. She'd have to answer that one. Are you in contact with his family? She has got contact with his family. How did you meet him? She wrote to him. Did they ever get contact visits? No. Did they let you leave the room if you wanted? No. They locked her in the room and said, once you're in there, you're in there. Okay. Did you find it yet?
Yes, so there's a couple. So there was By Your Side. That's the one that he used to sing to me. There's No Ordinary Love and Feel No Pain. Those were his favorites.
There was no last meal. Texas stopped it because an inmate ordered loads and loads of food and didn't eat it. So now they just eat what is served on the day out of the canteen. I don't know the answer to this question. Why are you not allowed to leave the room once you're in the room?
Because it exposes it. So you have to remember, it exposes it to people. It's soundproof, and it is like a chamber, and you don't want anything to distract it from stopping it. There's just so many reasons why they just, once they lock the door, unless it's an emergency or it's finished, they won't open it. So you kind of are forced to make sure, because it has to follow protocol completely. And they don't want anything that could go against the constitutional law, which is cruel and inhumane. But there's no cameras in there, so anything can happen in there, and it will be your word against the state's.
That's why they put media people in there, if I'm correct, don't they? So as well.
Yeah, they still came out and lied.
Yeah, the media get put in there to come out and tell the truth and came out and completely lied. The two media said complete opposite things as well.
Yeah. So the media for the state lied, and then the media for Dallas Morning News told the truth. So yeah, So what made me write to a complete stranger? My law degree. The COD mentioned I was flawed and my heart goes out to you. Yeah.
Why did one get DR and one didn't? And why couldn't they give him longer sentence, not DP?
Plea deals, manipulation, victim's family, who they targeted, just a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. His case was never straightforward. If it was straightforward, look, if I said this to everybody, if it was straightforward, I would have put my hands up and said, you know what? And they said, yeah, he did it and whatever, whatever. Okay. But
somebody answered a good question and said, did you believe he was innocent from day one?
I can't say from day one because I didn't have access to his. So this is what happened. When I saw his interviews and stuff like that, I'm the kind of person that I look beyond the words and I look at the people's body language. And I always had doubt he had done it because even like when we would do it, when I was in law school, they would always teach us never take a defendant confession serious because no person easily just gets up and confesses like that. So I was always trained in a way that you never take somebody's confession that they freely just up and confess serious, right? And in my head, I used to look at the video before him and I started properly talking, and I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense. Why would you just get up and confess so freely? It's not normal. Like this is something that we were taught from like barristers and lawyers that have been doing this for years and years and years. And then when I messaged him, and then eventually he got me in touch with his legal team, and he got me in touch, and I got the transcripts. Then I looked at the DNA, and then I looked at all the other evidence. That's when I was 100% even more sure that he didn't do it. And then after that, when I first went to visit him, I went to Texarkana, I went to all the places he lived, and I started asking people because nobody knows you better than the people that grew up with you, right? And especially like in the neighborhood, like you can ask the people that you used to play knockdown ginger with and all these silly games with the neighborhood, they could tell you what kind of child you was. And I went to speak to loads of people, and everybody kept saying, like, it's not, how the heck could James pull a trigger, because he was never that kind of person. Like James was that kind of, and it's funny enough because I spoke to another guy, his friend that he grew up with from like 8, 9 years old, and he always said that James was never that kind of person. Like James was capable of taking care of himself if somebody was to attack him, but it was more like more fist. You know, it was never a weapon. James never ever was that kind of person, and hearing that from people that know James from when he was like a baby, a kid, knowing them saying like it can't be possible that James could have done it because I don't know, I just got a notification that has been restricted for some people.
We're gonna come off in like 3 minutes anyway. I said quarter past. Because I can tell when Tiana's getting tired. I can tell by the look in her face. She's had enough, okay, guys. But we do these lives a couple of times a week. We will keep talking about this case. We will keep going live of like literally weekly and talking about it. So if you want to hear more about it, do come and join us in the future. We have been on for like 2 hours talking about it, and I know it's tiring answering the same questions over and over again. So I think like it's a good time to cut it off. Thank you for everybody that's followed and sent gifts and for the positive comments and the support. And we'll see you guys the next one, I guess.
For sure. If you guys want other information, just go to the link that I have on my bio. Everything's on there. Thank you, Claudia. God bless you.
Yeah,
thank you, everyone.
I will just make awareness of that. If you go on Claudia's page, there is a GoFundMe for Tiana. We are raising funds to cover her while she keeps fighting for James's name. I will be putting the link in my bio. So if that is something you're interested in, keep an eye on my bio as well, and you'll be able to find the link for that.
her. But yeah, Tiana's page is on my page as well, if you want to go and follow and go and check her story out, and we'll see you again in the week, I guess.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you for everybody that's joined.
thank you so much, guys.